Good morning, United Protestant Church, and happy Halloween. Uh, I know that there's a lot of memes, videos, whatever, floating around about Halloween, and I said it. Your pastor said it. Happy Halloween. So I want to answer as simply as possible a couple of big questions about Halloween, and hope it's helpful and relevant for you and your walk with Jesus on this Halloween. So let's get to it really quickly. Question number one: is Halloween a Christian holiday? I've seen this question a lot, and the simple answer is yes. Halloween is a Christian holiday. It is true that it is short for All Hallows Eve, which was the vigil the night before All Saints' Day. A vigil, there are fasts, there are feasts, and there are vigils in Christian practice. And a vigil is a long, often all night session of prayer. In this case, prayer for those who have passed, for the dead, for God's grace to safely shepherd them and make safe passage into the divine eternity. So, question number two: is Halloween a Roman Catholic holiday? My simple answer to this one is not really. And here's what I mean by that. From at least a Protestant or evangelical perspective, before the 16th century, all of Europe was united by and large as one Roman Catholic Church. So for a Lutheran, a Baptist, Reformed of any stripe, Wesleyan, capital E, evangelical, Pentecostal, or any other tradition of the post-Reformation Protestant evangelical tradition, that is also our history, and whatever varying paths we've taken since, we share that history. Question number three: is it true that Halloween is a pagan holiday? Now, the simple answer to this one is also no. But what folks often ask is, what about the debauchery, the trickery? What about dressing up in demonic costumes? What about all of the partying and licentious behavior that goes on? What about things like jack-o'-lanterns and witches? And here's the trickiest part of our answer, is that pre-modern folk, people before the Enlightenment, people who did not share our very scientific and materialistic imaginary, would have thought of all these things differently. And by imaginary, I want to clarify, I don't mean they made things up or that we make things up. I mean that in our minds, when we take all of the facts, stories, connotations, denotations that we know, and we put it together representationally in our heads, that's an imaginary. So the way that someone imagines, for example, how the universe works, or how their body works, or how things outside their body, not just meaning trees and other people, but meaning spirits or angels or demons, is part of their imaginary. And so what's hard for us to imagine is that, first of all, Christians themselves would have by and large gone out into the streets on All Hallows Eve, and they would have partied and dressed up like demons in the hope of scaring the demons away because of the vigil. Secondly, however, this is a very human practice. So yes, there are pagan aspects. Pagans would have celebrated carnival and ritual and all kinds of debauchery the same way. Third, what we probably need to understand is that, you know, all Christian practices tend to be, as Catherine Tanner, a theologian, once said, someone else's practices made strange. So, in closing, here's my final thought. You may still be asking, How do I show my faith, or how am I faithful in my faith, or I'm just still feeling a little conflicted about Halloween as a parent or a grandparent. And I would just say this: first of all, there are some ways to have a Christian Halloween. First of all, uh, don't worship Satan on Halloween, so that's an easy one. Secondly, parents and grandparents can be, collaborative and judicious in what costumes you pick. Third, uh, you know, getting candy is kind of a fun part of Halloween. Uh, you know, one of the beautiful and difficult parts of our faith is we don't tend to say things are bad, creation is good. But as Paul says, there are things that are good and that we're free to do that aren't edifying, like eating a half a bag of candy. Now, I'm even going to double down and say maybe if one night a week your kid eats half a bag of candy and throws up and can't get to sleep, I mean, that ain't fun, but it's not Satan worship. And I don't think they will be possessed by a demon, though, if they're trying to avoid diabetes, that might be a good practice to avoid. So, with all that said, enjoy your Halloween. Have fun with the silliness. Enjoy the kind of dark romance. There is a mystical edge to the holiday that I think we should enjoy. And I think more importantly, let us start turning as we're supposed to towards Christmas, towards the end of the year, and most importantly, towards this Sunday, when we will gather to give thanks and pray for the dearly departed and those who have gone home to their heavenly home. So as always, I want to close by asking you to take a moment here, take 3 deep breaths, imagining you're breathing in the grace and breathing out the stress and chaos. And brothers and sisters, please know, wherever you are, Christ is already present there. And wherever you're headed today, God's grace has already paved the way. Be blessed, be a blessing. Bye for now.